Masechta Shavous, Daf Lamed Hey Amud Aleph, the fourth line from the top, the Mishnah. Zog the Mishnah, Mashbi Eini on Daf Lamed Hey Amud Aleph, the fourth line from the top. Mashbi Ani Aleichem Im Lois Havayu Usiyiduni Shami Ish Pleini Litinli Masayim Zivloi Nasan. The Teveya says to two Eidim, I'm making you guys swear to come and testify that this person promised me, I'll give you a mashal, that if I get married, he's going to give me a matana. And give me a nice matana. And I got married and he didn't give me. So come and testify that he promised that he's going to give me a matana.
Say those exact words.
No, I'm just giving you an example.
I'm saying, he said, come and give me $200.
Says, I'm going to give you a matana.
So person labor sure something I understand.
So he's making him swear that.
You like it?
And they deny it. We're talking about Shua Saints. They deny. They don't know about this. They don't know. They're denying this whole this. Are they going to be chayv carbon or not? Says the Mishnah, they're part to be because the only chayv on what kind of a edus if they deny if it's money that is taka owed. Because a guy could back out of a matana. He said, I don't want to give it. Finished. Goodbye.
Him owe you money.
Oh, your money, there's no backing out. I lent you the money. What do you? I back out. I'm not paying you back. What do you mean you back out?
I'm going to give you money on it tonight.
What do you mean on tonight?
They say that he promised to give money, right?
No.
They're saying that he could always say, I promised on it tonight. If you do so,
okay, but whatever it is, it's still not. Whatever the din is, if they deny they don't know such a edus, then they're not going to be chayv carbon. Only on what kind of edus if they denied, not knowing, and they really knew the edus. Only a type of monies that the guy actually owes the money. There's no way out of it. Zog the Yemada, zog the Mishnah Vayit, Mashbi Ani Alechem. Sheteidu li edus shetavayu utziyuduni. He says, I'm making you swear now that in the future, when you're going to know testimony from me, you're going to have to testify, and then it comes about in the future, and the taka come upon something that they can testify, and they deny it. The potter, and they really did know the edus, but nevertheless, not going to be chayiv. Because the shvur came before the actual testimony, before the story even happened. He's saying, I'm making you swear for the future. If you're going to know some kind of testimony, you're going to testify for me. And later on, it happened.
They swore that.
And they swore it. And then later on, they denied it. They don't know of this testimony. They're not going to be chayiv. And this is a pasuk. We're going to learn that later. So he got up in the Beis HaKnesses. They get that klap of tish, and he says, anybody that from this cloud, if they know any testimony about me, if anybody that knows the testimony about this case should come and testify. So even though they deny, everybody denied in the shul, even amongst the people that were there were Eidim, and they denied they don't know the Eidim, they're potter. Till he singles out which people are that should designate or single out. These are the Eidim. These are the Eidim that I'm talking to. So then he's going to be, and then if they deny, they're going to be chayv carbon. But as in a klol shaveg, that's not going to be chayv. I'm going to soon see why. 14. He said to Tuet Mashbi Ani Aleichem Ish Playing Shimatem Edu Shetavayu Usiduni. The Tevei said in front of two Eidim, I'm making you guys swear, you Eidim, that if you know testimony, testify. Okay, and they answer, we don't know any edus, and they do know the edus, but not directly. They heard from somebody who saw that they know the edus, so that's hearsay. Okay, or one of them was a karev to the tevei or the nitzvah, or puzzle, or one was not shy, it was a gazlan. These are potter, and the Gemara is going to give a makkah for it. The fifth din, shalach biyad avdi. He appoints an evet for him to go, and he says to evet, go to these people and make them and say you're making them swear to testify for me. Or the nitva, not the tevei, the nitva. It says if you guys know edus, you better say edus. I'm making you swear to say edus, and they deny that they deny it.
They swore. What happened? They
He
swear.
makes them swear. They answer,
How do you
Amen.
make a person swear?
I'm making you swear that
The whole concept is so.
What is
so
the mitzvah?
I'm making you
What
swear.
is the mitzvah saying?
If you deny it, deny it. If not, it's Eidos.
What is
So,
the mitzvah?
you
What is
accepted the
mitzvah
shvur.
to swear? What is
The Nitva says, I don't care if it's against me. If you guys know Eidos against me, say it.
Oh, why does he want?
We had this before on 2 blot ago. So he says it's not going to be good because the Torah says befedish im lo yagid. Remember the loy with avav.
Yeah.
Im loy with avav tells you the only one that could make the Edom swear is the Tevei himself. Even if the Tevei was running after the Edom, so he's showing that he wants them to swear, to testify for him. That's not good enough. He has to say Omar. You remember I told you what Golchowski said on Yom Kippur. He gave Shalom Aleichem in the hand. He says, the Shchanar sagt nicht, als wir können Shakel in the hand, steht, wir können sagen, you cannot let it greet a person with Dibur. Okay, anyway. Okay, anyway, Mashbi Ani Aleichem, I'm making you guys swear, Sheinatem Yedin Le'edis, Shetavei Utidu. You guys should come and testify. And they deny falsely. They say they don't know the Edis. Arei Leptum da Potter, Ache Yishmu Mepi Atavei, till the Tevei himself makes them swear. But if it's the Nitva or it's a Evet Zaina is garnished. The only case that's exceptional if he gave somebody the power of attorney, then it's like him. Ashtar Ashar. Gave somebody Ashtar Ashar, we learned 2 blot ago, then it's like him. We said it, the first case of the Mishnah, he made a guy swear that, listen, testify, say this for me, that this guy promised a matana, that if I get married, he's going to give me a matana. I'm giving an example again. And he didn't give it to me, but to say it is that he made the promise, and they deny it. So I would have thought they should be chayiv. Talmud Lema sechta sechta, like Zayda Shabbat. Never come by shvus ha'edus it says the word sechta. V'never lahalan by shvus ha'pikotin it says sechta. Ma lahalan just by shvus ha'pikotin betvis mamim yeshloi. It means it's just like the pikotin is talking about that he actually gave something of his to somebody to hold for him. So it's his be'emes. So the Teveya, there's no backing out. I gave you something to hold for you. Give it back to me. You can't say I back out. I'm not giving it back to you. What kind of baloney is that? That's only if it's your money. I've covered his money yesterday.
They don't know if he gave or not.
Right. All he wants, they should testify that to give a matana. So he says that's worthless because he could always back out of it. And we learn out from Sechta Sechta, a Gzeira Shava has to be like a pikadon, just like a pikadon. He gave him something which has to be returned. There's no way out of it. So this is the kind of money, Tviyas money we're talking about, that he has to pay back. The second case, he makes him swear in the future. Swear now that in the future you know testimony about me. You'll come and testify. And it happens to know they did know, and they denied they don't know the testimony. So they're not chayv akam. The Edis that they denied, and they really knew Edis, they have to bring a carbon elevated, a carbon machatas. We'll see, which is our elevated. You should come and testify. I would have thought he should be chayiv. When they're denying that they don't know the Edis and really they do, they should be chayv akam. Allah. They'll listen to the sound of a shvua. V'u'eid, but first, v'u'eid means that in the past he's already aid. Or he had seen in the past, or he knows. So the only time is misha kadma eidus l'shvua. It has to be a case where the eidus, they saw the testimony, and the shvua comes after. What happened here? He makes them swear now that in the future, if you ever know anything, a story, you're going to testify. That's the Torah says. The only way it can happen, the only way you can, first they have to know Edus, and then you can come ahead and make them swear. But not that you make them swear prior to the story. You can't have a shvur before the Edus. Then we had the third case. He goes into the shtibel, macht a klappe for dish. Yeah, in Shein Shul, he says anyone that knows Edus has to testify, and they are real Edus between them. And they deny the potter. Sagt die Gemara, Shmuel, afilu Eidim beineim. Even if the Eidim are between the real Eidim between the kol, between the congregation. In fact, the Gemara Pshita, if there's no Eidim, who are you going to make swear? Who are you making swear? It's a joke. Of course, you're making the kol swear the Eidim that's in the kol. But if there's no Eidim in the kol, well, it's a joke. Of course, there has to be Eidim there between them. And you want to the koyi levai. It's talking about when he made the announcement, the Eidim are standing right here on the side of him. So if they're standing right by him, the Eidim that really know what's going on, I would have thought to say, come on, I'm a little dummy. They're standing right there, and he's speaking to them in their face, even though he's speaking to the whole cloud. But they're standing gleich and sein panim. So then we should say it's as if he told them. It's as if they were singled out. Kamash Malon.
They have to accept it.
Kamash Malon, he says, right, as Kamash Malon comes to teach us, he has to single them out. If not, they're not Eidim. Tanya Nami Hochis says, we learned in the Brayso similarly. He saw a kvutza of Shabnei Yodam Eidim. He saw a kvutza of people standing, and there were Eidim between them. It's like our Mishnah. He said to the group, I'm making all of you guys here, you whole group, I'm making you, if any of you know Eidus about this story, you have to say Eidus. And they deny it, even though there were two Eidim that knew and they denied it. So I would have thought,
Like a Yesh B'Reida sort of thing.
I don't know. Oh, you're looking like that. I don't know. I would have thought he should be chayiv. But who ate? It says that only if he singled out the eight. Here he didn't single out the eight. Or you want to use the word designate the eight. So now that we established, if you don't designate or single out the eidim, they're not eidim. I would have thought he did sort of single out. He says, all those that are standing right here next to me on this side of the Amid, you guys over here on this side of the Amid have to testify for me. And they deny the testimony and they attack Eidim. So I would have thought they should be potter. No, but who aid? He designated and it has to be just kolshu. It doesn't have to be by his name and everything. If he points out the area where the Eidim are, that's considered as designating the Eidim. And if they deny it, and they really didn't know the Eidim, they're going to be Chayom. The fourth case, he said to two, Mashbiyah ani aleichem, I'm making you guys swear, and to testify, and they only know me pi, only from hearsay, from another person, or they were kroivim. Haben gelernt. He said to two, I'm making you guys swear, you and you swear. You should come and testify for me. They know Eidus from a person who had seen it. The one that saw it told it to him. They themselves didn't see. Or one of them was a karev to the Trevei or the Nitva, or he was possible, he was a Gazlan, who's not fit to be Eidus. So I would have thought they should be chayiv if they deny the Eidus. If he's not going to tell over the Eidus, he'll carry a sin. So what does it mean, Yagid? Yagid means it has to be somebody who's able to tell it over in Bezdin. The Yagid is referring to Bezdin. Only somebody that's fit. HaKos Medaba, the pasuk is talking about. Not somebody who's a karev, not somebody who's a apostle, and not somebody who's just by hearsay. They're not qualified. If he sent to his Eved to go and make, the Eved should make the two Eidim swear, but not the Tevei himself. If he sent Eved of his, or is the Nitva, not the Teveya. The Nitva says, I don't care if it's against me. You guys know Eidus? I'm making you swear to say Eidus. And they denied Eidus, they're pot. I would have thought they're chayiv. Im lo yagid v'nosavayna. My Talmud, what's the im lo yagid telling us? Rabbi Elazar says, im lo yagid, the lo is with above. Ksiv, it's written with above to tell you, lo, who has to be mashbiah? The Teveya has to be mashbiah. Lo. That the Eidim have to be, he's making the Eidim mashbiah to him, to the Teveya. Im loy le Teveya atzma sheis beinim. and lo yagid, and they're not going to say with Aedis, they're going to deny it.
So
When that's
what's
Avoinai,
the Bava now?
one second, when that's Avoinai, you carry a sin. So v'im la'acher, lo yagid. But if it's another person, no, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to say over the testimony, Pata, and therefore he's going to be Pata, even if they deny the testimony. What's your question? There's a famous saying, and maybe from this story you'll understand. I don't know who it is. I imagine about that we get up in the middle of the night to say slichas, the first slichas. Why? Because we want to be made a big nas. We're made a big nas before the Satan can come and testify against us. We get up early and made a big nas is Pata. Who's that? Lachala, like or Salach the law. Very key. Rav. The Allah is like Rav. Made a big nas is Pata. Made a big nas. Vachakat ba'oedim. Rav says he's still Pata. In fact, the Shaila, what about Shmuel? He says that if they didn't come after Yechayev, so the Shemayim, Hazinu Shemayim Ba'aretz, the Shemayim Ba'aretz will come and testify. So what are you going to answer then? What does it help getting up in the middle of the night? He says, Hazinu Shemayim Ba'aretz. But who has to summon the Shemayim Ba'aretz to testify? The Satan cannot. It has to be the Teveya. Who is the Teveya? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not demanding the Shemayim Ba'aretz. From where do we learn it out from? From the Vav, in Loi. The Loi, the Metavav, comes to tell us only the Teveya can be Teveya. Not any outsider. So that's what he's coming to, that's how he answers. And then you have the Tzemach Tzedek says on this word, it says, Ani Havaya Loi, the word Loi Shanisi. I specially changed it with a Vav, Lamed Vav Aleph, that the Satan shouldn't have a koyach to summon the Shemayim Ba'aretz to testify against us. That's why the Eibishter did especially in such a way that we should be protected. Okay. Zok the Vishna, Mashbeini Ani Aleichem, I'm making you guys swear, Oy Mitzavani Aleichem, or he says, the Lashna Mitzavani Aleichem, Oisech Mani, Heil Chayom. So he says, these Lashenis are Lashenis of Shvua. If he says, Mashbeini, Mitzavani Aleichem, Oisech Mani, if he made the Shvua, he made them swear, he did the Shvua in such a Lashon, it's a Shvua. Bashamayim Ba'aretz, and now what did he use for Hashem's name? He says, Bashamayim Ba'aretz. I'm making you swear by the Shemayim Ba'aretz. Harei lo b'tunah. Because that's not Hashem. Baal of Dalit. But if he did Adnai, or B'yud-Kei Vavkei means, or B'Shakai, or B'Tzvakais, or B'Chanim B'Rachm B'Erech Apayim, or B'Rav Chesed, or B'Chol HaKinuyin, all the nicknames, Harei lo Chayom. Those are Shemus of Hashem. Hamakawal, he says that's been negated to Shvus Eidus. Now Hamakawal means Hamagad, if somebody curses Hashem. He says, Yaakov, I'll say Rabbi Yossi, es Rabbi Yossi, right? He says, Yaakov Yossi es Yossi. So he says, well, you have to take out Yossi, means Hashem's name. I'm just saying Yossi. So he says, Bekulan, if he used Hashem's name by Yaakov Yossi cursing Hashem, Chayiv is Chayiv Skila Dibri Meir. Chacham said he's potter if he's mekalel, he's megad of Hashem's name, because the only way you're going to be, if you curse Hashem's name, you're going to be chayiv, is only if you curse by Hashem, by the Shem HaMyuchad, which is Yud Kei Vav Kei. According to one day, and the same thing somebody who curses his father and mother. Bekulam, with any of these names, you're only going to be chayiv if you curse the father and mother with B'Shem Hashem. So any of these kinuyim, he's going to be chayiv misa skila for cursing his father and mother. Divrei Rab Meir. Those are the words of Rab Meir. Chacham said pater till he's mekal b'shem hamiyuchad, which is Yud Kei Vav Kei. Hamekal esatzmei or the v'chaveirei, he curses himself or his friend. Bekulan, by meaning with all the nicknames. Over b'loisasa, he's going to be over naloisasa. Okay. Now he says the teveya. Let's say
he curses himself with David's name.
Yeah. Yes. He's over on a loisasa.
Like you say, God damn, right? Is that a curse?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn what?
If you or another person, and he says GD, whatever. That's a big shiloh. I don't know if you even know loisasa. Anyway, Tevei Sheizbiya, the Yaakov Hashem Elokim. He says Hashem, he uses the lashon. The klal is the was breaks up in the parsha. Yeah. Where is it? In Nasei. Yeah. Where the klal is? No. But no.
No, we just
We
had
just
it.
had it. Not say no. This past week's past. No,
Chukaisa.
Chukaisa. Yeah, the Chukaisa. Chukaisa. Yak Hashem Elokim. This is the lashon of curses. Ovechin Yak Chem Elokim. If you don't come and testify, Zil He Alaksu B'Atayah. This is considered as a shua that's written in the Torah. It's a lashon shua. Okay, says Gemara. What's if he says Al Yakcha Hashem? Hashem should not hit you if you're going to testify for me. Or Hashem should bless you if you come and testify for me. Or it will be good for you if you come and testify for me. Rabbi is mechayiv if he doesn't testify, because miklal lav atashemei. If they're not, if they will testify, else is good. He's bringing out the klalis, which is
He
always.
has to say the negative also.
He doesn't.
No.
That's what he's saying. You could say the positive because miklal lav atashemei.
If you do the right thing,
Miklal
you're right.
lav atashemei. So he's saying the hain part, which you can learn out, that if he doesn't, he gets the lav part. But that's only according to Abmeir. So it's as if he was cursing him if he won't testify. Chacham say no, we don't hold of miklal lav atashemei. It has to be direct. He has to say the lashon Allah. He has to say the lashon Allah, even if he holds like miklal lav. Others say there's one piddush that say that the Chacham hold that they don't hold of the klal of miklal lav from the klal of lav. They don't hold of that. The second piddush was that it says befedish he could hold of miklal lav atashmeyahin, but by shvus ha'edas you have to fulfill the words v'shama koil ola. Your mamish have to hear the curse, and he cannot say it in an indirect way. And there's another piddush. Okay, we'll just leave it at those two piddushim. Zakti Yimad Maikom Mashbeini Aleichem. He says, "I'm making you swear." Maikom. What did he say? Is he being mechayiv mashua? He didn't use Hashem's name. Mashbi Acha. What did he say? Mashbiani Aleichem. But he didn't say Hashem's name. How could it be a shua?
You just said that you need to say.
You have to say Hashem's name. Yak Hashem, whatever, you have to use Hashem's name. So he says, Amar Rav Yehuda Hachikama. This is what he's saying. Mashbi ani aleichem b'shua amur b'Torah. He says, I'm making you swear like the shua that says in the Torah. And the shua that says in the Torah is somebody who says with the words Ha'am b'Torah. It's as if he's mentioning Hashem's name. So the Gemara, and he says, Oy metzavani aleichem metzavua amur b'Torah. So once he says Torah, he's making him swear in these Lashonos, which are Lashonos of the Torah, and he says which it says in the Torah, it's as if he's mentioned. It's as if he maskes Hashem. Abaya said, Allah, how are you going to explain how the Tanur Abchia? This that Abchia learned in the Braisa, even if he uses the Lashon Kaivel Chamani, I'm chaining you up. And they deny in the shvua. You said it's considered as a regular shvua, and if they deny that they don't know any aids, and really they did, they're going to be chayiv a carbon. Chayiv but ice mixiv. Chayiv is not written in the Torah. Mashbi ani aleichem shvua. Bishvua. He says Mashbi ani aleichem bishvua. He started off with the lashon shvua. And then he's Mitzavani Aleichem B'Shvua. Yisachmani B'Shvua. He started with Mashbiani. He started with the lashon Shvua. And Kaivel Chamani B'Shvua is also he started off with a Shvua. So since he started with the lashon Shvua,
He mentions in the shua.
he says the lashon Shvua.
So just I'm tying you up.
Right. He uses the lashon Shvua. It says in the Mishnah, but Aleph Dalit, if he swore by Adnai or by Yudkei, Yudkei Vavkei, or B'Shakai, or B'Tzvakes, or B'Chanim B'Rachim, B'Erechapayim B'Rav Chesed, if he swore by these names, and he denies, he swears that he doesn't know any Edis, and he really does, he's going to be Chayva Karma. In fact, the Gemara, L'meimer, the Chanim B'Rachim, Shemus Nino. Chanim B'Rachim is Amida from the Eibishter. The Eibishter, Hatachmanes, Samida, but it's nicht gegen Shem Hashem. What do you mean? I'll ask you a question. Yes, Shemus and Chakim. Yes, Shem Shein and Chakim. There are names that are erased. There are names that are not erased. Elohim Shem Shein and Chakim. These are the names that are not erased. You're going El, Elohecha, Elohim, Elohechem, Eke asher eke alav dalad adnai v'yudke shakai tzvakis harei elu nein lechakim. These are names that cannot be erased. Which we didn't mention in the Mishnah, Isus, these cases, but Chanun, we did Rachum and Erech Apayim, Rav Chesed. We said if he swears by those names, it's like swearing by Hashem's name. But we said it's not Hashem's name because that's why you're allowed to erase them. So how could you say if he swears by those names, it's considered as swearing by Hashem's name? Amabai Masnisen, our Mishnah is talking about B'mishu Chanun, B'mishu Rachum Kama, meaning you don't have to have the Shem Hashem. You have to have the Kavanah from his Lashon. You have to know that he's being Miskavan LaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's enough to make the shvur to be Chal.
But he didn't mention
He mentioned Chanun.
Maybe
Chanun is only the Eivishter. And we want people should be similar to Hashem to be Rachamim. That's what we say always. But who is the epitome of Chanun V'Rachum? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So when you usually say Chanun V'Rachum, the etzem of Chanun V'Rachum, the mock of Chanun V'Rachum is the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Und der Eivishter mont bei uns, wir sollen sein ähnlich zu them. That we should be similar to that. Amalei Yarava, Rabbi said, Yihach Bashmayim V'Aretz, not me. Bashmayim V'Aretz, you're referring to Hashem. B'mi Shashmayim V'Aretz Shaloi Kama, that's the Eivishter, it's going on the Eivishter. Says, you want Hach Yashta, could you then compare? Hasam, given the Leik Mida, Achrina, the Ikri, Racham L'Chanan. There's no other mocker for Racham L'Chanan, only Hashem. That is the epitome of Racham L'Chanan. Surely there he was swaying by the one who is Chanun V'Rachum, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Since there is Shamayim Ha'aretz, he could be swearing to the Shamayim, he could be swearing to the Aretz. Bashamayim Ha'aretz come. So the Teveya could be swaying by Bashamayim Ha'aretz Mamish, and not by Hashem. That's why Bashamayim Ha'aretz is going to be potter. It's not going to. It is, and it's not going to be. Or it's like not Dafka. He's not doing it as a son. He swears by Shemayim or the Ha'aretz. But these are not. This is not going to be considered as a shvur that if he denies and he really knew this, that he's going to be chayv hakam. Tanu Rabbanim Gelend. Kasif Aleph Lamed Me'Elekim. What's if he already wrote Aleph and the Lamed of the Shem of Elekim? Or Yud K from Mehavaya of Yud K Vav K, he only wrote the Yud K. He cannot erase it. Because Kale and Ka are a name of Hashem itself, without writing Elohim, the whole thing. Shin Dalit Mishakoi. If he only wrote Shin Dalit is shed, it's not the Eibish's Namen. Aleph Dalit Me'adnai. Aleph Dalit means nothing. Or the Tzadik Beis Mitzvah case, then it does get erased, because they're not names of Hashem. Two letters of those
it means something else.
Tzov. Tzov is Faberai. Yeah, Tzov is not Tzvakis. And Shin Dalet is shed. I mean, it's not. Rabbi Yosef Tzvakis Kulei Nimchak. Even the whole word Tzvakis, if it's written out, you could erase the whole thing. Shaloi Nika Hashem Tzvakis El Hashem Yisrael. The shame of Tzvakis is only, it was first originated by Shem Yisrael. It says here, it says that it's Hashem will take out his hosts, and it's referring to Am Yisrael. Taka, later on, Tzvakis goes on Hashem too, but the original Piddush was on Yisrael. So the Rebbe says, we want to know, so does it still, even though it originated from Am Yisrael, but later on we find that the Eibishter is also called Tzvakis, does it have that same Kedusha or not? Rabbi brings down, I don't remember where. In the later Halakim, somewhere there. Anyway, Amar Shmuel ain't halacha Rabbi Yossi. The halacha is not like Rabbi Yossi, that Tzvakis, if he wrote out Tzvakis, that you can erase it. No. It's the name of Hashem. Tanu Rabbanim Gelend. Kol ha-tofel Hashem. Anything that's tofel in the prefix, you could erase. Anything that's, it's called suffix at the end of after, any letter that comes after in the suffix of Hashem's name, that cannot be erased. So here he says, Kol ha-tofel Hashem, bein milfan, bein malachal, is a nimchad. The Tanakhama says this prefix and the suffix do get erased. Lefon of Ketzad. What does it mean, prefix? He says La Hashem. The Lamed comes before Hashem's name. Nimchad. it gets erased. Ba Hashem, the base nimchak. The base, just the base. The prefix. Va Hashem, the vav, nimchak. The vav gets erased. Ma Hashem. If you have, let's say, La Hashem, Lamed Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Lamed you could erase out of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Because the Lamed is the prefix, it's not the Yud Kei Vav Kei.
You can erase, meaning that you can...
The first letter, the letter that's not a part of Hashem's name. Dinim, yeah. The base of, yeah, you're right. Ba Hashem, so the base is Nimchak. Vav, Va Hashem, the Vav is Nimchak. Ma Hashem, the Mem is Nimchak. Sha Hashem, the Shin is Nimchak. Ha Hashem, the Hey is Nimchak. Ka Hashem, Kof Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Kof is Nimchak. La'achrov Ketzat, what's the suffix? Elokei Nu, so the Nu, the Nun Vav, is Nimchak. Elokei Hem, the Hem is Nimchak. Elokei Chem, the Chem is Nimchak. Achenim Ma'imim la'achrov ein Nimchak. Achenim say if it comes after Hashem's name, it cannot be erased. Shekva Kitra Hashem. It's tafel already to Hashem's name. The Hashem's name was written, and then you wrote Nu, so the Nu is tafel to the name of Hashem. It has the same condition. It's only the prefix before you wrote out Hashem's name that can be erased. But if it comes after Hashem's name, it's tafel, and therefore it's us to erase it. Avona said that the suffix cannot be erased. Avram, the latya means loit, lenaves, begivus yam shleimed daniel simen. These are the simanim of the next couple of cases. Says Gemara, Kol Shems Hamurim Atera beAvram Kodesh Chutz Mizeh Shu Chel. All the names of Adinoi that you find by Abraham, it's all Kodesh. It's all going on Hashem, except for one. Which one? Shanam it says, Vayim Abraham Adinoi Im No Matzasich Einacha Al No Savay Ma'al Avdecha. So there's one pirish that it's talking about. Michal was in the middle, and you had Gabriel on the right side, Rafal on the left side, Malch Rafal on the left side. So he spoke to, usually the oldest one, the Cheshvus, was standing in the middle, because the two stood on the sides as how do you call the whole and take care of him. So he spoke to Michal, don't leave, and he knew if he speaks to the oldest, the other Malach won't leave. But the others have a different shot. Chanina be'achim Rabbi Yeshua, Chanina the nephew of Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Meshum Rabbi Elazar Meidai. Amru Avzeh Kodesh. The Adonai over there is also Kodesh. And what does it mean? There it's talking about Vayeri Allah Hashem al Avram. The Eivishter hat sich bewiesen zu Avram. And then the guest came. Vayavi Nei Shleish Anoshim Nitzam Malav. So he said, Al no Sam Malav. He said, the Eivishter, wait. I want to go and invite the guest. So the Adonai over there is going on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's where Kiman Oslo, who does it go? That's where we learn out that Achnosas Hoichim is greater than receiving the face of the Shechina. Because he told David, wait, I want to invite the three Malachim, the three guests. So you see, he told David to wait, that's Kabbalah's Bnei Shechina. He invited the guests, so Achnosas Hoichim is greater than the Kabbalah's Bnei Shechina.
Sometimes the word Lord can be bold. You talk to a person and say, Lord.
My Lord, right. But over here,
also it can mean the
it can mean the Malach, or it can mean the Eivishter. Here we're saying it means the Eivishter. Case Hazuk, like Rabbi Chanina, the nephew of Rabbi Yeshua, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said that it's going on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kol Shem Hamurim Beloit, and all the names of Adinoi that said by Loit Chayil is Amid Beis. It's the
20, number 20. Number 20, 1920.
You go in the speed of light over there.
Okay, yeah, you saw that. So now we're up to Kol Shem Samurim Beloit Chayil. All the names of Adinoi that says by Loit is not going on Hashem. Chutz Mizeh Shu Kodesh, except for one. Shenam it says Vayem Loit Aleim Al Nosa Adinoi Hineno Matzah Avcha Chen Beinacha. Behold, Hashem, find chen in your eyes. Find me chen in your eyes. Your chesed was so great that you did with me. You made me, you let me live by the turning over Zdoim HaMeira. Asher asisa lahachzis es nafshi mashma mi sheyesh by biyadei lahames lahachzis. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Who is he thanking? He's not thanking Malachim. He's thanking Hashem. Hashem is the one that has the power to be Meimes Mechai. Kol Shenis Hamurim bin Naves Ayizeli Kodesh. All the names of Hashem that's mentioned by Navas HaYisrael. Who was Navas HaYisraeli? He was one of the Sanhedrin, and he had a beautiful vineyard. Achav, the king, Melech Achav, wanted his vineyard, and he said, "No way, I'm not selling my vineyard, not to him. Achav Zarosh, I'm not giving him nothing." So his wife Izebel was a grishas, so she concocted a whole story that he was Megadev Hashem, and they came and testified. So they killed him. So
She had her husband killed.
no, Achav was the king. They had, so Izebel wanted Achav to be happy to get the Nevois Yisraeli's vineyard, and she lied about him that he was Megadev. So there you have many times that it mentions Hashem's name. It says Berachter Lekim, Berech Novis Lekim. There it's mamish referring to Hashem. B'Micha Chayil. By Micha, by Pesel Micha, all the names of Hashem is not Hashem. It's Chayil. Yeshman Chayil, Yeshman Kodesh. He says that. I'm sorry. Rabbi Lazarima ben Nove. I mean it's Chayil. Rabbi Lazarima ben Nove is Kodesh. By Nove, all the names that are Elokim that's mentioned is absolutely Kodesh. By Micha, Yeshman Chayil, Yeshman Kodesh. By Micha, there's some that are Chayil and some that are Kodesh. Aleph Lamed Elokim Elokeinu, that's Chayil. Yud Kei, the Shem Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei Kodesh is Kodesh. Chutz Mizeh Shu Aleph Lamed. There's a time that it's written Aleph Lamed Elokim or Elokeinu. V'hu Kodesh, it's Kodesh. Where it says Vayasimu Lahem Es Pesel Micha She'asa. They place the Getchka Kol Yemeis Hayois Beis Elokim B'Shilei. As long the Pesel Micha existed, as long as the Mishkan and Shiloh existed. So when it says about the Shiloh, the Mishkan, Beis Elokim, that's the real true God. It's the name of Hashem. Kol Shem Hamurim gives Binyamin. You know the story with Pelagish we give up, right? So the husband of the Pelagish cut her up into 10 pieces, gave it to all the Shvatim and said, "Huh? Send it to all the Shvatim to fight against Binyamin."
So who cut up the 10 pieces?
The husband of the Pelagish. The husband of the Pelagish. He came, he wanted to leave. The husband said, the father-in-law said, "Let us stay." She ran back to her father. Then he stayed by the father, and then he says he wants to go back home with the Pelagish. And he got stuck in Shevet Binyamin's land. They were Rishoyim. They weren't allowed to take any guests. They came around this guy's house. Like Zdain. They were terrible. And so they said, "Give us the guest." So they gave the Pelagish, till she died. And so he was so upset. The husband, he cut her up into pieces and sent it to all the Shvatim and told the story. So they all ganged up on Shevet Binyamin. So it says, all the Shems that says by gives Binyamin is Chayil. It's all Kodesh. He said, when the day you saw all the Shvatim, should we go fight Binyamin? And you're saying that the Shem Elokim is Hashem. Hashem said, yeah. So how could it be? They were unsuccessful. Why would Hashem say yeah and they were unsuccessful? Yeshua said, "My sheivtei chasa." The first 2 times, what he promised, he did, right? But they didn't clarify what they want. They said, "Should we go up?" He said, "Yeah." But they didn't ask They didn't ask if we're going to win or lose. By the last time, they were clarifying to the Urim Tumim that if will we win? He skimmed the Urim Tumim was masma yodam that they should go up and they'll win, and they taka one. Shanaba, like it says, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron, Omer Lefana was standing before them by Yom Mahim Leimer. Ha'isvayt lotzis lamachama im bnei b'yom achim im echtel v'geimer. And at the Pearl Mamish, they won because. So of course, the first 2 times they never asked if they're going to win. So that's why it was able to happen that they lost. A lot.
Who lost?
All the Shvatim, Binyamin were very strong. The last time they won over Binyamin. Kol Shleima Hamurim is.
They killed so many.
Yeah. Kol Shleima B'Shir Hashirim Kodesh. Sie wissen sich, Jeden, yeah. Und sie haben nicht Chasen gehabt mit Binyamin. That's the whole thing of Tu B'Av, that they broke that Geseder that Binyamin can marry into the other Shvatim. Kol Shleima Hamurim B'Shir. When you say the Shir Hashirim and it says Asher l'Shleima, it's not referring to Shleima Melech. It's referring to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Shir l'Misha Shalom Shaloi. It's referring to Hakadosh Baruch Hu who gives shalom in the world. Chutz mizeh, except for one. Kamin Shalil lefanav elav l'chal Shleima. So Shleima l'didei. It says for Shleima for himself. For the vineyards, you had 200 people watching his gardens.
Guy's garden.
Yeah. So what does it mean, watching his gardens? It means it's referring that they didn't go to war. Watching the gardens means that Rabbanan should be learning Torah, and the rest went to war. Others say even the pasuk that we say at night in Krishma, that's choil. It's the 60 Geberim were watching Shlomo HaMelech because he was afraid of Ashmedai, that it would attack him, because Ashmedai attacked him. He finally came back to the palace, but he made sure he had Shishim Geberim around his bed so he can go to sleep. Avzeh says, Avzeh,
He couldn't knock him off, Shlomo?
no, he caught him, but then he took the cover. Avzeh choil. So he says, and we don't have to say that the previous Askara is also Chayil. Others say that he's masking to the Tanakama, that the El of the Shlema is referring to Shlema, and this pasuk also says, it says that Machus the Oma, meaning that Malchus. Here he says, "Shenema kami sheli lefanai, alav lechas shleima lemalchus l'rekia, u'masayin le'noit l'spei lemalchus le'ara." He says, if you use a sixth for the king could use a sixth of the army for himself, for his personal needs. There were 1,200. 200 he kept for karmi. The other 1,000 were for to go to war. So he used as if he keeps a sixth for himself, you don't get punished. Says Yemada Shmuel. So Shmuel is like the Tanakama, like Yeshayim. Shmuel cannot come out not like the Tanakama, nor could he come out like the Yeshayim. Because Shmuel says it's all referring to Hashem except for one. Says the Gemara Allah Hachikama. But Yeshayim Zeh, the El of the Chashlema is Taka Kodesh, is referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But Zeh Hu Chayil, and only the Hini Mitasha Shalishleima, the Mitasha, is Chayil. Shmuel and Shmuel holds like the Yeshayim, there's only one. Kol Machaya Hamurim de Naniel, all the Malachim that says by Naniel Chayil is Chayil. Chutz Miseshu Kedesh, except for one that's Kodesh. And Malka Malach Malchaya di Allah Shmai Malchus Chisna Letakva because you have Lach. You're the king, and the Melech Malchim Lachim gave you the strength. Maybe they gave you the strength to be and the honor to be a king. Others say it's also going on a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It says that the Eivishter showed him in a dream. So it's going on. The dream was going on the Sunim, and the explanation of the dream was also the one that showed him the dream is going on the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Van Kama. Who did Daniel say these words? If you're going to say he said it to Nebuchadnezzar, that his dream, it should go on the son of Sanus Manino, who are the Sainim? Yisrael. I said, Yisrael. Is it possible that Daniel should curse out the Yidden? It's not possible. Says the Gemara, so it has to be going on Nebuchadnezzar himself. The Tanakh said, Yisrael, Ika, Leika. And another answer is the Tanakama holds what there's only the only sign of Nebuchadnezzar with the Yidden. There was sign of the Kechavim. They were going on. So he was that's what could be going on the sign of Goyim that hated Nebuchadnezzar. It doesn't have to be going. The son of Nebuchadnezzar doesn't have to be going on the Yidden.